Okay, before anyone comments on my critique saying that I'm bullying and stuff like that, I would recommend you read the disclaimer. I'll keep it up for a few seconds just for you guys to read it all. Got it now? Good. Now let's go on to the critique now. Well, it's critiquing time again, but I need some ideas. What if I made a sequel? To what though? Aha! I think we need to pack some more people in the package fandom. I think a lot has happened, and I missed quite a bit of people, either due to the time the video was released, or me just forgetting, that I honestly need to check up on. Alongside updating my opinions on people in the fandom, because yeah, that's also happened. So, let's see what else is up in the package fandom in this epic sequel video. Sup guys, Spacey here, and today I'm going to be doing my first sequel video. A sequel to my most popular video of all time on this channel as of now. The video on the package fandom. Don't worry, I'm not going to be milking any videos for sequels. In fact, I don't plan on making any more sequels after this. This is just only to make up for things that I missed in the original video because there's been quite a bit of demand for some reviews of people I missed. That, and quite a bit has happened in the fandom since then to warrant a change in my opinions. Either for positive or negative, whatever it is, I'm going to be updating opinions as well. This isn't going to be my longest video ever. Hell, I don't even expect it to be the length of the original package fandom video, but it's still going to be filled with quite a bit of content for you to enjoy. So let's get started to a sequel you've all been anticipating for. Before I talk about the remaining users though, I better update my views on the people I've already talked about. Now, with some people like Package, Daniel, Rising, and Ernix, I don't have anything to update on, so I'll just stick to people I want to talk about. I'll also update my opinions on Jack/Lucas and Maxie, because why not? So yeah, let's start off with Minty. Yeah, rebrands can be odd sometimes, so how is she improved? Well, we have nothing new for videos, but her art has changed quite a bit from last time. For one thing, the eyes have changed to look a whole lot better, like it's night and day for improvement. Same also goes for the line work, which looks a whole lot better compared to the MS Paint scribbles from before. I would say the OCs look at least slightly more interesting than before, thanks to more unique details. Still, I think there's still a few improvements that need to be made. Mostly anatomy because it honestly hasn't improved that much. Sure, there's a lot less awkward positions, but we still have the same broken arms and legs alongside inconsistent sizing of body parts. It's clear Minty still needs to look into anatomy and structure videos and images in order to improve more. I'm not saying to ditch your style, but better anatomy will help immensely in terms of art. So yeah, Minty has improved somewhat, but there's still quite a bit of flaws. Now let's see how JJ the Jet Plane has been doing, and let me be honest and say that while the editing has seen some sort of upgrade, the mic is still way too quiet. Like, I had to turn my mic very hard in order to even hear you. So yeah, crank up that gain on your mic, or in Audacity, by a lot so you can actually be able to be heard. If you do get that mic situation sorted out, then I can honestly see you being a great YouTuber, but alas, you are just kinda mediocre right now still. But now, we have to talk about Carno. Yep, this guy. The guy who got kicked out of the package fandom. He is currently on the same tier as... Yes, that name has been tainted that badly in terms of respect. And I saw this shit from miles away, knowing how tasteless he can be. What ultimately broke the camel's back, however, was when Brie was forced to say some questionable things in the end 2033. Oh yeah, speaking of that movie, it came out, and if you saw our reactions, it was an epic masterpiece, very godly. I may even review it soon if you guys want it. So yeah, at this point, I see no hope for you, Carno, and at best, it's best for you to just go away, unless I do an interview with you, which may or may not happen. Which is kind of sad, to be honest, because that one response that Henry did, which was actually edited, was somewhat decent for your quality. But yeah, overall, not that good. Lastly, for members I covered in the original package fandom video, we have Maniac. And while I don't have much to say, I do think him expanding into other types of videos is ambitious, and I'm glad he's ignoring those weird naysayers in his comment section who wanted to exclusively do rants. Seriously, they're just as bad as package fandom comments sometimes. I swear to God. He also canceled that Maniac movie as well, which is what Carno should have done with the end 2033, but we're beyond that at this point. I also was told that due to some trauma Maniac has experienced, he tends to be loud and angry, so yeah, I think I kind of take back that comment about him being too angry. Still think he should tone it down a little bit, but I think I was being a bit harsh in that video. So yeah, there's nothing really else to say about Maniac. Overall, I do wish the best for him, and I hope to see him grow in the future. Now, as a bonus, and just to complete everything, I'll tackle the two people who I covered in the two videos before the original package fandom video. Those being Jack/Lucas and Maxi. Starting with Lucas, I think his current rants are just typical generic rants, just for that classic Lucas audio balancing. And while he is not plagiarizing anyone anymore, I still think his content reeks way too much of the package fandom. I think if he expanded more and do more users, I think he could potentially become somewhat decent and maybe even good. But alas, currently, I think he's just kind of generic. I also think his art kind of falls in the generic side as well. Sure, it is certainly improved quite a bit, but I just think the art style is just kind of overall. I'm just glad he manages to improve his art style overall, but yeah, nothing really else to mention, just painfully generic. I just hope he does better than his previous username, but it'll all depend on the future. Finally, in terms of updating my opinions on users, we have Maxi. And honestly, outside of Minty, I think Maxi's the one I've kind of changed the most. This mostly has to do with my opinions on Tordana, since in that critique video I made some dumb conspiracy, but now I actually got to talk to them, and they're actually pretty nice and good people. They just see Maxi as a little sister figure, and honestly, that's just kinda cute. That doesn't mean my opinion on Maxi has changed too much. Oh no, I still don't approve of her behavior at all, but I can at least see why Tordana has accepted her now. I also feel like I was a tad too harsh, even if I cannot excuse her behavior at all. So yeah, that whole drama with the package fee and Tordana, it was all just one huge misunderstanding, and I honestly hope both parties can make up soon. But yeah, that's all I have to say on that. I just don't want anyone seeing Tordana as villain, since we're far from that. In fact, her parents, especially her mom, are more the villains here, since they give her so little attention and don't educate her at all. Very sad, but I can't do anything about it. So yeah, I'll just end off here since it's getting kinda sad at this point. But yeah, now that I updated my opinions, I'll now move on to people I mentioned in the original video. Starting with... So first on the list is Cold Speed Josh, or Josh for short, who has been on the web for quite a while, and has built up quite the resume of videos and especially art, so I'm kind of excited to talk about him. For rants, he has been the most active with them, but even his earlier ones are super good, especially by comparison to what I've seen from the fandom. They have some great presentation and good audio. Even if some of the points themselves were kind of mediocre, they still are entertaining and fun, even if it's also lacking quite a bit in the humor department as well. And I hope his next few runs are even better than his current ones. And then we have his art, and while it's not the worst I've seen, it's still far from being good. Hell, I think it barely goes above passable. The biggest problem is the fact they're so inconsistent. Sometimes the arms are massive, sometimes they're too small. Sometimes the shoes are so big, and sometimes they're normal sized. And same goes for other elements as well. It also ends up making the drawings quite blocky as well, more like a Roblox or Minecraft character rather than something more normal. And that just kind of reeks of your scratch roots, to be honest, which were full of those blocky vector types. So yeah, some more construction would be highly recommended. It would also make for way better anatomy, rather than the anatomy that looks like the OCs were beat up. I also think adding some shading once in a while could help add some depth to the drawings, though if you're not good with it, then I would kind of consider this optional. So that's all I have to say about Josh. Overall, he's a good person with some good videos and okay-ish art. I hope he improves in the future because he has some great potential that should be expanded upon. Now we have the newest ranter of the bunch, starting his career a few weeks ago. Albert is an experienced artist turned upcoming YouTuber who is making rants. For his art, I quite like it, since it has great style and anatomy. Probably the best Undertale mock-up art I have seen, to be honest. Though then again, the Undertale AU scene, which the package fandom loves for some reason, is something I'm very unfamiliar with, so my judgment is rather unclear. What I can be clear on is his current rant, and while I do feel like it's a good first effort, I think it falls under a lot of the trappings newbie ranters face. Mediocre mics, uninteresting editing, making text not visible enough, especially when it's showing Discord convos, and poor audio balancing. Stuff I feel could be easily be fixed, like setting the music level for negative 20 decibels for the music issue, and zooming in on the images or reading them out for text-to-speech for the Discord text problem. See? Easy fixes. In fact, I'll recommend any newbie editor to look into tutorials for making good YouTube videos and tutorials for their editing software, since these tutorials teach the ropes rather well and will avoid a lot of the newbie mistakes that would be made otherwise. That is all I have to say on the editing portion of the video, but one other thing that needs to be said is that the subject matter you picked was kinda shit. Yeah, being kinda blunt here, but honestly ragging on a 12-year-old is wrong, especially since they are far from mature. I mean, yeah, the package fandom has some sort of a problem with little babies joining the servers, but if you ever want to do another subject, make sure they're at least 15 or so. The last thing we need is for you to become one of those people that cancel kids. It is also clear that there wasn't much to her, thus making the points you made kind of short and incomplete. So yeah, it would have been way better if you decided to pick a target that had more content to them. That's all I have to say on Albert, since other than the mediocre first rant, he is a really talented man, so I hope he has a lot of fun improving and becoming a great artist, because honestly, I could see him having a lot of professional jobs in the future. Finally, in terms of misusers, we have Generica Kitty, someone who has a similar rise to package/box. A user who used trends to get into stardom, but eventually went the direction of rants. Generica is much newer to the rant scene though, so I have to give my criticism out to her. For one thing, I can say that the visual presentation looks really nice overall. Sure, the avatar picture is kind of small and tad wide, and the screenshots themselves don't have backgrounds, which makes it look inconsistent, but other than that, there's nothing really wrong with them. The music on the other hand is extremely inconsistent and a tad on the loud side as well. It feels very jarring as a result, so that is something that needs to be fixed. Other than those quibbles, I can honestly say that you're improving a lot, Generica, and can't wait for more rants from you. But that isn't all Generica does. Oh no, she also does art as well, and... Are you shitting me? This is elementary school level art. Okay, where to start first? Right, the anatomy. If I could describe the anatomy in the simplest terms, it would have to be Tiger Breath 13's 2013 work and or Alex Mulholland's artwork. Same hot dog with a head anatomy, awkward noodle arms, lack of perspective, and not a tint of hands. Honestly, I can't give any specific advice on anatomy due to how awful it is, so I'll just say to look up anatomy lessons just like Minty, because honestly, it's kind of inexcusable knowing how old you are. But that isn't the only flaw with her drawings as well, as we have the brush itself, and the fact it's so wonky and inconsistent makes the drawings look a lot more like chicken scratch. So yeah, try to pick a more stable brush as well, as it would really help add some nice neat consistency to the drawings. But yeah, that is all I have to say on her art, and as the stuff surrounding the art, like the OC lore, is fine, it's just that the art itself is just kinda bad and deserves criticism. Okay, looks like I'm done with that mini rant. So my overall thoughts on Generica is that she is improving quite a bit in terms of the videos, and I quite like them personally, but the art needs quite a lot of reworks because the style currently is very amateurish and pretty goddamn bad. I hope you improve, Generica, because of all the members of the package fandom, or hell, even mutuals in general, I think you're one of the best I've had so far. So yeah, I hope you take the criticism well and improve quite a lot. And that's all he wrote. And honestly, that was kind of short, especially considering my standards. So, how can I extend the video? Oh yeah, artists. I want to get my thoughts on them. Because while video makers are what the package fandom is majority about, there's also quite a lot of artists in the fandom, and a lot of them are quite talented as well. So, let me show off quite a bit of artists from the package fandom. Starting with... Bree. Bree is one of the most notable members of the package fandom, not only just due to Sims, which I've covered in the previous video, but also in terms of art. And I completely understand her appeal to a degree. Her art is rather well produced and nice to look at, even if there's the once in a while anatomy issue. And Maniac looks more like a sperm than a ghost. Though even I do like the art quite a bit, I don't really get the appeal of it. Maybe due to how girly the interests are and how I hate some of the series she's into, but still, it's something I can't describe all too well. But other than that, she's a really talented artist, and I hope she manages to improve quite a bit. Venus. Out of all the artists here, Venus is my favorite, even ignoring mutual bias. From his wacky style to the funny jokes, Venus is an artist I can immediately recommend to anyone. In fact, I could say that Venus should do rants of his own, since the rants where Package and Venus collab are some of my favorite Package videos of all time. Alas, his current state, Venus is a great artist with a funny sense of humor, and you should follow him immediately. Kimmy Boo. Kimmy Boo falls under the same category as Bree for me, an artist with a great production and art style, even if it's only really traditional art. But it doesn't really appeal to me personally, and I have even less of a reason as to why. Still, Kimmy is an artist I can recommend, though I feel it gets more cautious due to the lack of appeal towards me. It's kind of a niche thing, honestly. Cyber. Cyber is another artist who I feel like is very great at their work. With great line work, anatomy, and coloring, I can clearly say that their work is A-tier greatness. I really wish they did more of it and went more ambitious with the content, because I could see a great future for her art, honestly. Zerti. Okay, no one to Zerti. Probably the most famous person coming from the Package fandom with his Ono seasonal. He's also a part of who I like to call the Mario and Luigi Undertale Friday Night Funkin' AU community. Similar to Albertronic, only with a lot more fandoms. Yeah, this is the best way I could describe it honestly. As someone who's not really a fan, it doesn't really get the appeal of the thing. Ignoring all that though, I can clearly say his art is rather great, with a unique art style put up to its max potential. While I don't think it's my favorite overall, I'm still impressed by how good the production is. I even think the OCs look cool, even if there was a 10 on the bland side. So yeah, Zerti is someone who is great and worth watching. Glitchy. Another person who falls into the Mario and Luigi Undertale Friday Night Funkin' AU community. Their art is rather nice and has some fun energy to it. The only criticism I could give it is the drawings tend to fall on the simple side. I think your talent level could allow you to expand quite a bit more, but that's just me. Overall, a great artist with some cool talent. I would instantly recommend a follow if you manage to find them. Guakin. Finally, in this little artist section, we have Guakin, a more newbie artist. And for someone that's more newer to that stuff, I think this art is really good. With some decent anatomy, even if I do think the arms can be a little bit long, and that there's no perspective, I still think it's rather cool. And the color use and shading are also pretty decent as well. I even like the OC a lot as well, though that just might be my bias towards robot characters. But yeah, I expect Guakin to improve quite a bit in the future, and I hope he expands the OC lore because honestly I think it's quite good and has lots of potential. So yeah, that's all the artists I have today. Overall, great batch of artists with lots of great skills. It's clear that the art is a strong part of the Package fandom. I can clearly see why, since the artists are all filled with talent. And to note something, if an artist is supposedly missing, they're A, not part of the fandom in my opinion, B, don't have enough art, or C, I've already covered them and you are a cheddar for not paying attention. But yeah, that's all I'm doing for now, so let's end this thing off with one last conclusion. So what new stuff have we learned from today's video? Well, it's that despite the shadiness of the A-logs and weens, there's still lots of great things you can find in the Package fandom. And while I still don't like the fandom as a collective, I still have met many great friends from it. And I honestly think you guys can make friends with them as well, because honestly, a lot of them are pretty nice, as long as you avoid the A-logs. I even see some of the members of the Package fandom becoming blossoming YouTubers for a new generation, because honestly, some of them have potential to be great. Some of them have hit the potential, some of them haven't, but overall, I just hope that they hit their potential rather well. So yeah, that's all I have to say, and now that I tied up all the loose ends, let me give you all a good old goodbye.